Hello, everyone. This is Carlos Lopez de Almeida, founder of the Plus X Fund, coming at you during this ongoing brutality and bloodbath in the markets. Today is Saturday, January 22nd, 2022, and we are going to review our ideas about where the bottom of this Marianas Trench of corpses is likely to be. So please click like and subscribe to our channel. It'll help us out. Let's pull up the chart. Look at this. This is brutal. Oh my God. We had a flash crash on December 4th to $41,000. Everyone thought that was the bottom and that, we might, range around here and retest the bottom, which we did. And look, we just crashed right through the floor. Why did this happen? Well, of course, there's chaos in the traditional markets these past 2 weeks because of the Fed and Fed policies and rates and whatever, There's also economic issues always surrounding coronavirus variants, and that whole situation makes things more fragile, I believe. But I think something else more important than that happened. On the weekly chart of Bitcoin, we can pull up the NVT over here. And what happened with the NVT? The NVT on the weekly chart over here on the week of the 3rd of January, the NVT flipped white. You can see that down here. The NVT flipped white when we dropped from 47,000 to 40,000. And that satisfies 12 years of history. Every single time the NVT turns from red to white, Bitcoin falls in the early days 80% or more, marking market cycle tops. And in more recent days, Bitcoin has fallen 50%, give or take, when these things have flashed from red to white. The least bad drop for Bitcoin was only a small blip before the bull run started in 2020, late 2020. There was a 22% drop in Bitcoin when the NVT flipped from red to white, and that was the least bad in history. So I called this. I saw this flip from red to white. I said, we're going to fall farther. We're going to fall more. And then the week after that, there was a little bit of pumping, and the NVT went back to red. And this week, which started on the 17th of January, the NVT flipped back to white, and it was flipping from red to white every day, and it was hard to tell what was going on. But I was thinking, no, it's basically trying to flip to white, and the warning from this week is still in play. And in all previous times in history, there was always a 9 to 14 day warning before the crash, once this thing first turned white. And once again, we had, a couple of weeks warning before this 22% crash. And I believed the crash would only be around 22% because we had already fallen 40% down from here. And so, Bitcoin's not going to fall much more than 50% total from the top. And that's where we're at right now. Bitcoin fell 50.5% total from the top in November. And I called it. I've even bought some positions at the bottom of this because I'm expecting a bounce. I'm really expecting a bounce very soon, at least a temporary bounce. So if we go to the 4-hour chart, that's better for day traders. And if you are a day trader or doing leverage trading, this analysis will be more for you. Let's look at the crash on December 4th, and then we had a bounce. And we had a crash on December 27th going down. And then we had a little bounce. And now we got a bigger crash. And I just don't see why we won't have some kind of bounce. I just don't see why. To at least test the 39K resistance now. This one, we bounced around 17% to get into this range. The previous one was much less, 7% here. That was nothing, right? But now, if you consider this entire move from December 27th, this is a 34% drop. So that's much more likely to have a significant bounce. And another factor that has 10 years of history in a row is Chinese New Year. Every Chinese New Year since 2013 included a 22% or more pump in Bitcoin. You know, some of them happened during bull runs and you had like a 200, 300% pump, but at least a 22% pump without fail every year since 2013, before and after Chinese New Year. And now Chinese New Year is the 1st of February. So my money's on some kind of upward movement for the next week to 2 weeks. It might not start until, you know, towards the end of January and really be something that happens after Chinese New Year. But to me, this would just be totally typical and normal. We had a crash. Any upward movements testing the resistance, which would be this bottom wick at 39,000, you know, that would be, you know, to test 39,000 from the low at 34,000 would be 17% pump. So I think we could have more than that. I think if we at least match the worst ever performance for Chinese New Year, that would be more closer to 22%, and that would take us to 41,000, 42,000. And so my money's on that. It might seem really scary right now over the next few days because you know, we're in the middle of the crash, and Bitcoin could dip, which it's doing right now. Look, it bounced and now it's dipping, and it looks like that it's going to ignore this and just keep heading lower, which it might. It really might. But I still say we're near the bottom. If Bitcoin prints a new bottom, it might be just a little lower and then we bounce. But I believe this bounce is coming this week and heading into Chinese New Year and after. So this current dip right now is 3.5% and moving up. So if we hold 3.5-4% for a dip right now, that's normal. That's normal. For example, after December 4th, and you know, we had a move down. You could take this move down. That was 5%. So, and it's still headed up after that. Or even when we had only a 7%, from the bottom to the top here on the 10th to the 13th of January, this was 11%. But the drop before that happened was 6.7%. So, you know, I'm not worried too much. You know, we might see a 5-6% drop, and we can still continue the bounce from there. You know, if this moves down 5%, it'll pretty much be back to where we bottomed. That wouldn't look pretty, but you know, that if that happens over a day or two, that would be completely normal and give us a chance to get a bigger bounce. So just be patient on this. I would probably stop out some of my positions that I bought if we are forming a candle body dumping straight into this 34,000 low. Then I'd look at that and I'd say, oh, that wasn't the bottom, and you know, I might take a stop out of my positions, take a loss, and try again. Try to buy at lower levels. You know, 32,000, 33,000, even 30 and 31. But look, we've already crashed 22% for the NVT, having had flipped from red to white, and we're close to like historical lows on the weekly RSI. We're really close to the bottom here. We're yeah, you know, at this point we're splitting hairs. And my trading strategy is all small amounts. I'm DCAing into this crash. So if I lose money on my DCAs, those were only fractional purchases, and I still have a lot more dollars, or dry powder, if you will, to keep buying into this dump. It's painful while it's happening, but it will pay off. It will pay off. So that's it. Trade safe. Think of these moves that I've predicted and laid out, and we'll do a review as we get closer to Chinese New Year, closer to the 1st of February. All right, take care, everybody. Be safe. Bye-bye.